so pleased to have Dr. Delbert back because every time I'm honored to have him as a guest, I always learn so much. And I'm going to let you tell the audience, Dr. Blair, what our topic is going to be tonight.
Pyramid, Diomids, and Hominids. The pyramid, of course, most people understand. Diomid may be new to many of your viewers, maybe not. And a hominid, of course, is the upright walking mankind, where supposedly intelligent man developed the bipedal tuberation and ability to become what we are, or what some of us are anyway.
And so we're also going to discuss how the future controls the past from the present.
Yes.
That's
another way out
quite
to it,
interesting, yes.
I hope so, and I hope it makes your listeners stay around and listen, because I think we're going to share a lot tonight.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. My first question is, what have you researched recently? Because I know I'm going to have you back.
Recently? Well, this is one of the things I'm into now. Of course, I do the thing on the earthquakes and the various acts of nature that are plaguing us, and of course, and I've been asked to do that a lot. Electronic diseases I've been asked to do a lot, but this is one that I've updated, which combines the thing about pyramids and UFOs, combines electronic diseases, and even a little bit of the magnetic solutions. And with this one, of course, we're going to be talking about those three things, the pyramids and these kind of energy fields that we're just beginning to rediscover, which takes us away from electricity, which takes us away from even simple magnetism, and gets into almost like a third force. It's been referred to as Vril, Ode, all kind of names, but there is another energy force, and it's what keeps each cell functioning, is what keeps all of us functioning, and it's really what I think the pyramids were actually built about. And now, of course, we have structures here that begin to exemplify and use that energy even better.
Okay. You know, years ago, people, queens and kings lived in pyramids, existed in pyramids. How do you relate the pyramids to the magnetic force?
Dr. Terry, that's a beautiful question, and one that's very interesting, because we learn more and more about the ancients who lived near pyramids, people who spent time under pyramid structures, burial places supposedly by the most elite in these kind of things, from the Valley of the King and in Egypt to the Giza Pyramid to the one at Zaxuman and what is the other one, Chichen Itza, and so Yucatan Peninsula. These things we find now may have been misreported. We may not have understood just what we were seeing. Many people, because of the movies and even some of the dictionaries and encyclopedias, feel that the Great Pyramid, for instance, is built by King Khufu, was informally called Cheops, 2,500,000 blocks of stone, 500 million tons, built for a burial tomb. Well, we're beginning to understand now it was never built for a burial tomb.
Okay.
And to feel that all these structures, and there are close to 300 of them, or maybe even more on Earth, believe it or not. We've got one in our state of Illinois at Collinsville, the great Cahokia Mounds, part of the Snake Mounds that goes through Pennsylvania and Ohio. They're up and down in South America. They even have them on islands in the Pacific. Now, you tell me how they built them there. We're finding them in the Antarctic now that that area is beginning to melt and become under scrutiny. They're found almost on every continent you can think of, and even in the oceans. They've kind of hidden, but not so much, because there are a couple of books out about it. The one that they found off of Bimini, and the one that they found there off Key West in what we call now the Devil's Triangle, they found great big blue pyramids, two of them 3 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. So they're hiding a lot of these things, and in many places they've never even found entombments and sarcophagi or burial places. For instance, in so-called King Khufu's tomb, they never found a body, an embodiment there. They found people who have seemingly broken into that, couldn't get out, and their bodies have become petrified, much like bats and things like this that have gotten in. But to say a big regal burial like we see, no. In fact, to think of that as a tomb structure is almost to be naive. These structures, we're finding out now, can utilize a third force. They can take an electric field and a magnetic field and produce from it a third force. Within it, we found now that the Grand Gallery that they talk so much going up to the King and Queen's chamber in the big one, seemingly at one time had a row of crystals, huge crystals. I'm talking again maybe about 30, 40 foot tall crystals that line that area. That when certain sun rays are from nearby star systems, especially Sirius and the Pleiadian, again, when they shone through this thing could give off a beam that would come out through one of those vent holes, which they now call air-breathing holes and this kind of thing. In Yucatan, they're finding that the ziggurats, or step pyramid, had a flat top. Speculation is now that a craft could actually land on that flat top. And then this great rampway would be where these regal people coming down could be greeted by the citizenry there, or they could go up into those areas. They find that the ones with the top seemingly have missed a top, much like this one here, that the top has been removed.
Okay.
And when gold or copper was placed there with a crystal inside, it reflected energy down into the chamber. Our group, of course, has built a beautiful blue pyramid because we find that blue light also does something. We put a copper top, couldn't afford a gold one, on there, and we find that this relates energy. This experiment going on here, for instance, is now 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it is unfortunately, or fortunately, you can see it's not sealed. And we built it so it couldn't be sealed because it's cut away. Now, they tell you that these structures have to be sealed to work. That's another misunderstanding. All they have to do is to get that shape going, have it oriented toward magnetic north, and they begin to function. Not only have they seen this now and are they working with this, but they're beginning to now get into a modular type, which leads into what we call now Diomids.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how does that lead into the Diomids? What are the Diomids?
This is a diamond that we have here, Dr. Terry, and I think you're probably one of the first TV shows to ever feature this. This is a double pyramid. If the audience will look, here's a pyramid on top.
Upside, and
you've got a modular, and then you've got another one. Here is what they call a diode plaque, and it's placed on wood, which is a non-conductor in this instance again. Now, this thing is putting out, if we could see infrared spectrography or so, it's putting out tremendous amounts of energy. It is regulating what they call oscillating frequencies. It works on the same principle here, but it uses modular. This one is a very unique construction because it shows lines of force where, here, for instance, from the apex to the base is a pyramid. But now you're seeing lines in between it. When you would draw this in geometry, it would show that the natural flow of energy would probably up and down and up and down. So what they've done is to fill in this place to conduct this energy all around the base and then reflect it down to the bottom. And here are magnets and crystals so aligned to put out tremendous amounts of force. Light hitting this, energy hitting this, begins to activate this without plugging it into anything. It's using the God force, natural force. Now, believe it or not, this will control an area 60 yards wide in any direction, even down through the floor.
What do you mean control it? How does it control it?
This is a frequency aligner. It takes oscillating energy. Oscillating energy is what we get from TV sets, cellular telephones, PC computer screens, VDT screens, color, cellular, anything that sets up a kind of a figure eight or something that does not have a pattern. The frequency changes, and this is what radiation is. It radiates into your body. Your body can take tremendous amounts of energy. We prove that when people get hit by lightning and they're not dead, they don't die. True. But it must come in a flow, a wave, a pattern. Our glands can adjust, or in some people more than others, to certain frequencies if there is a flow pattern. But when it bombards and oscillates and so on and so forth again.
It's like radiation.
Yes, and especially the extra low frequencies, the ELF waves. Well, this will take ELF waves from microwave ovens, from cellular telephones, from TV sets, and align it in a 60-yard area, which means that one of these in a house pretty much can begin to align all of these negative energy transfers. You put two, one upstairs and one down, and it definitely will align all of these kind of things per se. Now it shows also that because it can do this, it can take in this energy, this frequency, and align it. This is what the ancients were doing with the pyramid, one of the many things, because they used different pyramids for different things. And this is why I also say that it's like from the future, because the people that built these things obviously were futuristic. Either they were what we call gods, and I'm not trying to put down a god or so on and so forth. Anybody who comes to a person who is very ignorant, they make a god of a person who has more energy, more strength, more intelligence. So we call them gods. They obviously were just a very advanced people who built these structures here, because now we can't even duplicate how they built them in the waters, in the ocean, okay? And they utilize this energy for various reasons, for telecommunication to each other on other planets, to control energy around the field and stop aging, to take away the little gnats and bees and bugs that harm us now. In this field, they will not fly in this field.
They would not.
No, they will not fly in this field. One of the biggest rat removers you've ever seen. Anything that has a low oxygen capacity that feeds on other creatures and that cannot metabolate its own God force has a rough time around this. And in fact, the more that you get into this own negative oscillating energy within your body, the rougher time you will have. Again, it is a liner. It takes in those frequencies, makes everything flow nicely and smoothly, and causes a lot of the problems that we have to begin to fade. Again, as I say, we're into Buck Rogers, in fact, now is kindergarten.
Isn't that something? How do you use it in order to help to balance what may be going on wrong within the body? If the energy is leaving or weak, how do you use this to bring the balance back?
Okay, we started off with these little things. I'm not trying to show the manufacturer's name again. These are called diodes. You wear them on your body, usually on the left side, because energy enters into the body on the left side, into the eye from the left side, out the eye, into this left side of the body, the arm, left leg, and goes and makes a circuit and goes out. This will cause these energies to create maybe a field of energy maybe 6 feet away. And when you're near a computer, a lot of people are getting radiated by computers and don't even know it. There are class action suits all over the place now, the PC and video display terminals, per se, because of the radiation. It's causing people to lose their hair to turn gray, getting warts, bumps, every other daggone thing. So this one takes that energy, frequency, and aligns it.
Now, how do you wear it? I mean, how do you...
You put it, if you're a female, put it in the bra, blouse, on the left side.
Okay, so you don't have another magnet that holds it together?
No, there's no magnet. That is not a magnet.
So you
just, like
I just put it in there.
There you go. And on the left-hand side or close to the middle. You don't put it on the right-hand side.
Oh, I just did.
Unless you, okay. Okay, well, you're not going to die from it.
Oh, okay.
It's just that the frequencies come in from the left side of the body.
Okay.
Left nostril, left eye, left arm.
Now, do I have to be near this in order for it to work? Or can I be anywhere in the house?
Oh, no. With the Diomid, you can be anywhere in the house. It's controlling area, not where you are, the whole area. 60 yards in all directions. As I say, if you use 2, it's going to control it like that. This one you would have if you were going to go through a lot of electromagnetic energy. You work in a personal computer area. You got a big computer company. You got a computer floor with the big refrigerated units and all this. That is just full of frequencies that are killing people. That's why people feel very depressed and down. In addition, they sometimes, with some of these corporations, have tags that they have to be scanned. Well, you're getting scanned with direct radiation right into your body, which gets caught up in the liver, the fat cells, the pineal gland, goes on and on. This will take those frequencies, and before they can lodge and do harm, just align them, and they just flow right on through, go right on out. And, of course, this is what you would carry if you couldn't carry this around everywhere and sit it down on the floor. You'd carry those with you. And, in fact, you can use more than one. You can even attach those diodes to a PC, to your little cellular telephone in the car, or a little portable telephone. You just stamp it right on, glue it right on again, put it on the back of your microwave oven, put it on the back of your refrigerator where there are all of the coils that are emitting energies, and this automatically aligns all of those things. And if you can't afford that or don't want to spend the money for that, then you just simply take one and put it on your own person, so when you walk through the fields, it is aligned.
How much would something like this cost?
That's very inexpensive. That's $19.95 to protect your life. We've even got them cheaper than that, $14.95 for little personal ones. I don't even like the little ones anymore. I want the big equipment kind. That kind there can also be put on, as I say, the equipment. And you can use, you can line your whole body up if you want to really control an area almost 20 feet around. If we had a different kind of a setup here, I could show you energy field patterns, which we'd have to go into in another show, just to show you how strong those things are and how they do make you strong or balance out the fields. So
it's the oscillating frequency or whatever that makes the energy bad.
Yes.
And this will bring it back into
alignment.
An alignment where it becomes the kind of energy that you need.
Can utilize.
Yes. Okay.
Kind of frequency and energy you can utilize. And as I say, that seems to be what pyramids are about, diomids are about, diodes are about, and we are about.
I agree. We are about. Yeah. How, when I think of the cells that are reproduced, when our cells, like we have cells dying frequently, and yet new cells are being reproduced. and then we have what we call RNA and DNA within the body to make sure that we have the kinds of cells that we need. Because if the energy is wrong, when those cells that are dying, or a new cell being reproduced, they won't be healthy cells.
Well, I totally agree with that. And, you know, a lot of people are getting into what they call antioxidant enzymes nowadays for free radical scavengers, which takes those radical cells that lose an electron and become unstable. And they become so radical that they flow through the body and try to attach to good cells, and that's where your cross-linking and tumors and cancer and everything begins, because we can't get rid of those decaying cells. Well, exposed to a low-frequency vibration, as we are all a day now in our electronic age, people are losing cells like mad. Cells are becoming unstable like mad. That's why people working in those fields get radioactive poisoning, and the cells die out. A lot of the things we're going through. So now that we understand that, we understand, too, that the DNA molecule, the dinucleic acid, and the RNA for the ribbons of life can reproduce people entirely. You can take one cell from any part, and now they're replicating it. They're lying about some of the things they're doing, but they've been doing that at University of Chicago back in 1947. So it's nothing new about it. So you can understand that those cells are very important, and they do follow programs as long as the brain governor is working. Well, when the brain governor is exposed to acids, exposed to toxins, exposed to fields, it begins to shrink and die out. And the cell loses control, reverting back to almost like an amoeba, which does the basic thing, eat and multiply and feed on other life forms in your body. These things can prevent that. They can stabilize that electromagnetic field. They can even have nutrients, believe it or not, that are taken with having been exposed to this, will go directly to your weakest cell and feed it. They have magnets that you can sit on the North Pole magnet, and it will make the water for 72 hours North Pole oriented, which will cause things there to shrink. And so if you're trying to shrink things, you can begin to see what I'm saying. They have South Pole, which makes things expand if you're trying to get in more oxygen and things along this line. So now that we're just beginning to understand that we are really electromagnetic units of consciousness, we are just electrical magnetic forces walking around waiting for a charge. Since our food and supply is getting so deficient, since we're beginning to poison our air, we must now come up with structures that can begin to enhance these things. And maybe again we'll all be living inside the pyramids again too, as the wise ones at one time did.
So now I can wear this, and if my energy is sort of off balance, this would put it back into place.
It will align it. It will align blood flow, because the blood is power. The blood cell, when it dries, is nothing but pyramids and geometric figures. This is what it is. When it dries, you see the same geometric patterns in the blood. And that's why they type it. So what that is, the blood is waiting for power. This only helps things to align. It lets the blood flow evenly through the body. Energies flow evenly through the body. No embolisms, no buildup, no short-circuiting. It just flows through evenly. You can just imagine using these things, or even having hospital wards and things with these things in it, what can begin to happen with people. And as I say, they'll even charge fluids that we drink.
I want to know, you also have magnets that you can wear, like on your clothes, one near the body and the other one outside.
I have on.
What I want to know, no, I'm talking about, for instance, if this were a magnet, I could put one in here and one outside.
Yes, but you wouldn't use the diode with the magnet.
No, my question is, do you think this is better than the magnets?
There are two different things. Magnets align blood flow quicker than this will. This aligns energy fields. Magnets can take away pain very quickly because they align the blood flow. They cause the body to secrete serotonin, and the pain and things begin to leave. Their alignment deep within. This one controls more energy, the things that the blood is composed of, and the things that we are exposed to in the energy fields again. I have on, as I say again, magnets. The rings I have on. I don't wear just two.
Now I'm going to take one.
And these are
see which one I like. I think I like this one. Yeah. Could you take that one off and let me wear it? And forget I got it?
I don't know what forgetting you got it, but there it is. And of course the sets are just for the beauty of it. But these are magnets. And this aligns energy coming into the left side. And again, because of the red hue, helps to let energy flow through the body through the other side. So this is also just a small way. We have watches that are magnets on them. And again, back braces, whole bed mattresses that you can cause your whole body to be energized during the night. You know, people with pineal glands and people with a lot of melanin especially, melanin is reproduced in the pineal gland between the hours of 10:30 and 3 in the morning. And that's when we get our deepest sleep and so on like this. These kind of things help that to triplicate. It goes to the 9th and 10th power, from the triple power to the 9th and 10th power. So you get even more energy, have to sleep less, and so on down the line.
All right, now, can you wear both the magnets and the Diomids?
Yes, I was doing so. But there's a unique trick to it. Okay? You can do it if you understand. When I wear that, you notice I have 2 rings to balance the energy flow past this. This would help with the blood flow. This one would take care of all the things that we're being exposed to, the radiation from the lights here, the radiation from the cameras. This would cause that energy field to align.
Let me give this back to you because you just might forget.
Okay.
Now, my question then is, what happens if you wear it on the right side? You said don't wear it on the right side. What happens if you do?
Well, it's defeating the purpose. It's to take the energy in as it's normally coming into the human body and make sure that it doesn't start oscillating and just smoothly goes on out. When you put it on the right side, that energy enters in. It can begin to oscillate before it's picked up here, and this crosses your heart meridian.
Okay.
And this is where that figure 8, you know, when our blood circulation is, this can cause a lot of palpitations of the heart. It can cause discharging from the thyroid and thymus. The thymus is your gland of youth and your immune system enhancer. Thyroid controls growth. And so in a person who's still developing, this can stunt growth. This can cause poisons and things to be secreted from, you know, this left side of the body before it begins to be aligned. So you want to get it as soon as it's coming in, make sure it stays well, and as I say, if you want to put one on the right side, then wear one on the left side first. So you make sure of that energy frequency alignment.
How many do you think you need in order to really be pretty sure that you're doing the right thing?
One is sufficient if we are exposed to small energy fields. But most of us, in the course of a day, not even a week, are exposed to more energy fields than you can dream of. Color TVs, personal computers, whether they're at home or in the workplace, scanning waves when we take a taxi, airplanes, which have all the, you know, the airplanes we even tell you, cut off all the electronic devices because they're using radar and everything else. So in the course of a day, we're exposed to just tons of oscillating fields. In the course of a week, imagine. In the course of a month, just think about it, and just blow your mind in the course of a year. As many as you can afford, on everything you can utilize possibly.
I mean for the body. How many?
I would say 2. One on the left, one on the right.
Would you place them both up or one up and one down? How
you
would
can place them both up, or you can place one up and one down.
So really,
I prefer, in doing more studies, to have that one on the left at the high area, up here where our head is and our heart is, and most of our very important glands other than the reproductive organs are. I prefer it over here on the right because it would then take things from the reproductive organ and begin to send them out to the right-hand side. The right hand like emits, and the left hand kind of pulls. So this goes along with nature's own frequency.
All right, so what's hominid?
Hominid is the supposedly upright, intelligent man when he became bipedal, didn't walk on 4, stood erect. So I use that as a catchphrase, pyramids, Diomids, and hominids, because it's almost like we were an experiment. When we awakened and walked upright, those of us who went through that evolutionary change per se, and I don't think everybody did, but that's another show too, you know me. But once of that again, we found pyramids. We didn't understand what we found, but they were there. We now are inventing Diomids because the elite, the brain workers here are beginning to see that this power, this energy transfer is a great thing to have. So it's as though we were a great experiment. And when Hominid began to become more intelligent, he began to understand his surroundings and some of the gifts that someone had given to him that he can now begin to emulate. It's almost like that old movie, what was it, 2001? The ape again tossed up the bone, and then as he watched again and created fire and had these gifts, and this great big stone came there, like the cobblestone or the granite stone, he then began to see that somebody was leading him on. Well, once we're shown the pyramids, now we can begin to see pyramid energy is just one of the many energies that the Creator has put here, and this is just one of the many ways to channel it in for help.
So this is more powerful than the pyramid?
Then this pyramid here, this is more subtle energy in these kind of devices here.
Okay.
It takes and works it inwardly, and you have to be within it, you see? But by it being so above, so below, this refracts the energy outward. And understand again, here is a huge diode. Like the diode we showed here, that's what this is.
Okay.
You can see, this, I don't want to get it too close to it either. You can see the size. That's a huge diode. And that's also making this energy come up in nature's shape, the pyramid, and this is what causes it to be able to affect 60 yards.
Okay, we don't have too much time, so I want you to relate how the past, the future controls the past.
Governed by the present, and we control it from the present.
Okay, explain what you mean by that.
The future, again, as we now, it's a lecture I give called Time Streams. If anybody has read this Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project, they understand that a long time ago the government had a problem with time. It happened with the cruiser Eldridge, and I won't go into all of that. But they actually begin to warp time. We now, this is why the movies are coming out talking about so much time travel, and so it's as though the future, when we were placed on this planet, when we were born here to learn as one of the many classrooms, was given a gift to our past in the form of a pyramid, because it was a way of showing us what could be done that we couldn't emulate. They still can't build the Great Giza Pyramid, no way. And to show us as though from the future there was control. Now, in looking at the past and understanding this was a gift in the future, we have options now, choices in the present to make, to either go further and see that there is something to shoot for out here, that there is a purpose for life, that we're not just born to die and that's the end of it, because it begins to make you think. It begins to show you different things. And once you begin to get this kind of energy in, even your thought patterns can begin to change. You'll find again that it energizes, as I say, the pineal, the brain, the neuron centers, and so on.
How much is something like this?
This one is $400. It's $4.25. It's $3.95. When you get through with the taxes and shipping, it's $4.25. Because, as I say, that's a whole houser.
Okay. Well, I think we're just about out of time, so I really can't ask you too many more questions. But, you know, it's interesting to me that this can do so much just being there, you know, just sitting there and or sitting there. And it would behoove us to look into how we can improve our own energy for ourselves rather than waiting until we get so sick we can't do anything about it.
Think of this also, Dr. Terry. Many people are having to sell $100,000, $150,000, $250,000 homes because overhead power lines are now making the sales go down because people understand radiation. A couple of these in your home,
and you got it made.
Okay. You're controlling that energy.
Well, they're telling me to wrap it up, so you know you're going to have to come back soon. You know that, right?
Anytime you want.
Okay, I want to thank you.